Welcome to the Highly Original Podcast. I'm Joe Martino.
Michael Ioneary.
And we're back with episode 18.
18,
okay,
Joe.
It's 18.
18.
Right.
18.
I literally asked him right before we started.
Yeah, you were still scared about it. Like, is this the right episode number?
No, but yeah, 18. And I think we have 3 more this year.
This year, yeah, man.
Yeah. So
18's a big number, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Our show could finally vote.
Exactly.
Do a lot of good things, you know?
Yeah. But, yeah, so we're at 18. We're still
Good,
doing this.
yeah.
We're
I love
still doing this. All right. And hopefully, the listeners did vote, and that seemed positive feedback with the new format. So
Beautiful.
So Mike and I are going to stick with that format. Mike, did you have anything to talk about with updates on the podcast?
I think we should give a quick update about merch. I
Yeah.
mean, let's definitely give that update. So I was saying next Saturday is probably going to be our official merch drop.
Okay.
So
Next Saturday, and that will be help me out here. That will be the 17th.
The 17th. There we go.
All right.
There we go. So, perfect for the holidays. Some people want to grab some nice, highly original gifts. They can do that.
Highly original gifts, indeed.
And they'll be exclusively on the highlyoriginalpodcast.com.
Yes.
So just keep a lookout for that.
Which I will be posting a link to on our Instagram pretty soon. We'll have the episode finished by next week.
Right.
It's essentially up. It's just like we just want to polish it.
Yeah, make it perfect.
Make it look nice.
We'll also be selling real quick some ad space on the website, on top of already having ad reads. So that's still something. You know what I mean? Definitely up to, I guess, the ad reads.
Yeah,
they're still out there.
Are still available.
I think good deal too, good price. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I kind of have a real quick update on life, man. I just wanted to share this with you. Do you like chicken parm?
Love chicken parm.
So I went to I'm not gonna say the name, but a somewhat notable Italian pizzeria near where I am. I ordered chicken parm, and it was like the most disappointing chicken parm I've had in my life.
How so?
First off, definitely jarred sauce on the spaghetti. Definitely jarred. And it was like a chicken nugget. Like the chicken was like a chicken nugget.
Like
just
blended chicken,
blended chicken. It wasn't a cutlet.
God,
it
bro.
was like it was a chicken nugget. Like, this had to be like in the back. I imagine they had a jar of Prego and like Tyson's chicken. And
did you eat it? Be honest.
I ate some of it.
Was it good?
No,
I mean,
no.
Straight up no.
It was the worst chicken parm I think I've ever had.
You can't.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to mess up chicken parm. It's pretty simple.
The sandwich that we had that one time that you refused to eat,
right,
was better than this chicken parm.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Like, that's
saying something.
And I took it in a box, just like. Because I felt bad not
just being polite,
just throwing it out. But I was close to like leaving, and I don't do that. I don't do that kind of thing where I like leave like leftovers at a restaurant. But I almost did, and I didn't finish it when I like got home.
Really, man, just threw it out.
It was terrible.
Dude, I mean, some people just don't care about the product they serve, man.
Yeah, I mean,
sad, yeah.
Sad
day for chicken parm,
yeah,
bro.
I just wanted to share that with you. Like, I don't. Have you ever gone to an Italian restaurant and like they served you like
mashed
chicken, just like frozen food aisle stuff, and charged you like $20?
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Like,
man. Fresh caught chicken. Where'd you catch it? Acme.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not too fresh, buddy.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even like from the butcher side. Like it was.
Like ground up chicken.
Like Tyson
that's
chicken.
Disgusting. Nah.
But, yeah.
Sorry you had to go through that, man.
Nah, yeah.
As an Italian American who loves his chicken parm, bro. I mean, I feel for you. That's
hard.
Sad.
But the bread was good.
Okay.
They had good bread.
That's okay.
Good bread. But anyways, guys, our nostalgia topic today is Fairly OddParents. All right, Mike, you watched Fairly Odd Parents?
Loved it growing up. Loved it.
Yeah. Let me see. So we've actually made mention of the Fairly Odd Parents before.
We did.
Mainly a specific character, Mr. Turner.
Mr. Turner.
Who you, the listeners, did vote, and you did determine that he was indeed a sociopath. So now we're going to do the actual show. So the synopsis of the show, which it ran for 10 seasons, but it was an animated television series created by Butch Hartman for Nickelodeon, and it ran from 2001 to 2017, and it revolved around a 10-year-old boy named Timmy Turner, who has like a miserable life. His parents, well, his dad is a sociopath.
I'm glad we got that out there.
His mom is now, guys. For those of you who are not familiar, his dad wasn't literally in the show.
A sociopath.
Yeah, it wasn't like talked about that he was a sociopath. It was just something Mike and I kind of determined.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got neglectful parents. He's got a horrible babysitter. Pretty crazy teacher. So he is given fairy godparents. So it's a husband and wife named Cosmo and Wanda, and they grant him wishes to help his life, not stink.
Right.
And as you would imagine with a cartoon, they get in lots of misadventures and, crazy antics. And yeah, I mean, so that's
that sums it up.
Basic,
yeah,
basic show, But yeah, so I was reading though about Fairly Odd Parents, and it kind of began development in the '90s. So Butch Hartman, I just learned this recently. He created it in like 20 minutes. The idea, he drew like the sketches that would become the three main characters.
Really?
In like 20 minutes, because he had been working for Johnny Bravo, for Hanna-Barbera on Johnny Bravo,
which is now Cartoon Network.
Yeah. And actually, he was coming up with a lot of other famous animators. Like Seth MacFarlane worked on Johnny Bravo too.
Right. Yeah.
So Butch Hartman kind of comes in like this turning of like the creative cartoon world, and he had 2 weeks left on his like contract or something, and he's about to have no income, and he just like comes up with his idea, and he was like, all right, fairy godmother. He's like, all right, no one's ever done a fairy godfather, so he like does this combination, and yeah, I just thought, so
that's interesting.
Sort of how this kind of comes up in like the '90s. He makes some shorts, it gets picked up, and then in 2001, it's a show.
No, that's it. I did not know that's how that happened. That's really interesting, man. Because Butch Hartman is such an influential person, and to think like Butch Hartman almost didn't have an income in animation.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy to think about. Like,
yeah, he became like the king of animated Nickelodeon. Like we were talking about on the last episode how Dan Schneider was sort of the king of the live action sitcoms of Nickelodeon. Butch Hartman was the king of animated. So he did in addition to Fairly Odd Parents, he did Danny Phantom, Tough Puppy, and Bunsen is a Beast, which looks like is that's like. Yeah, that came later, so
right.
It's not bad.
Tough Puppy, I remember that.
I remember that one, but
I remember that came out.
But yeah, so he, very prolific cartoonist, and yeah, so that's basically the rundown there. So Mike, kind of to get into our discussion of the Fairly Odd Parents.
Okay.
Who is your favorite main character?
Favorite main character of the show Fairly Odd Parents, I would have to say, is Cosmo. Okay. I love Cosmo. Such a goofy, he's. I guess you'd say he's like that dumb dad that Mr. Turner is not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cosmo is more like.
Darren Norris voiced both Cosmo and Mr. Turner.
Really?
So that was the same.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah, that's funny.
And Darren Norris. See, I'm coming at you all these facts. He was Gordy the janitor on Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the voice. Yeah, that's
it was
crazy. Yeah,
but I'm sorry.
No, that's. I'm glad you said that. I definitely remember growing up. I was like, whoa, is that Mr. Turner's voice coming out of this man on Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide? I definitely remember that.
No, yeah. I mean, so tell.
Yeah, no, I
why
mean,
you like
Cosmo. I think Cosmo's hilarious. I just think he's such a happy-go-lucky kind of fairy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like, whereas Wanda's the smarts,
Yeah.
man, Cosmo is just that comedic relief. And so is Mr. Turner. Like, they're both kind of dumb, stereotypical cartoon dads, but more so Cosmo. You know what I mean? Even though he doesn't really become a dad until like way later on, you know what I mean? But I just love him. He's like, you can't not love Cosmo. He's so stupid.
No.
It's just like, he's just hilarious, man. He really is. I'm gonna have to go with him as my favorite character for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's a good choice. I mean, because he was the fairy godparent. So I'm gonna pick the actual dad, Mr. Turner.
Okay.
I really did enjoy Mr. Turner, despite him being, a
sociopath.
Yeah, a sociopath. What I loved about Mr. Turner was just his eccentricity. And for instance, like his like pointless feud with the Dinkelbergs, who were the neighbors who had a childless life,
right?
And because of that, they had more expendable income, and this was like something that Mr. Turner like hated.
Yeah.
And like there are a few times that he like kind of like lets Timmy know that he's like resents that he has a son, like. Like there's like that scene in one of the episodes where Mr. Turner, he's like, oh, that's where I kept all my dreams, like my hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
He's like, but I gave up on those a long time ago, and like Timmy's like, when did you give up on your dreams? And like he just goes like, how old are you?
Mr. Turner.
Like yeah, I just thought he was like insane. Like, do you remember the ultimate reality where I think Timmy wishes. Because that's how a lot of these episodes would go down. Is Timmy would wish for something, and then like there would be a negative effect.
Right, yeah.
It was kind of like a morality lesson, like maybe not morality, but like a
to the viewer,
moral story. Like maybe things aren't as bad as you think.
Right.
Maybe things could be worse. So I think he wishes that his parents never met or something.
Yeah, it's more those lines.
In the absence of the mom, like. Mr. Turner becomes a dictator of like the world, and he's like this maniacal villain, and he's just like he forces everyone to be like happy and like crazy like him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought he was just a funny character.
Obsessed with pencils. I mean, that was his job.
His career was pencil pusher.
Yeah.
Which they never really like got into it. He was at an office job, but they kind of hint that. He somehow supposed to manufacturing pencils or sharpening it.
Just sharpens pencils.
Like a quality control guy. Like there's the episode where they go to Canada to because it's his dream to sharpen a pencil and like
it's like golden
like platinum like sharpener
pencil sharpener
in this like occultic temple in Canada. But yeah, he was definitely.
You'd say he's your favorite character?
I think.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I was hoping you'd say Mr. Turner, man. I was hoping.
The funniest lines.
Dinkelberg.
Yeah,
I just love it.
But who would you say is your favorite side character?
My favorite side character, and this may kind of be like random, not random, but what was his name? Big Daddy, Wanda's father. Yeah. Basically a fairy Tony Soprano.
But do you know who voiced Big Daddy?
I do not.
Tony Sirico. Paulie Wanda.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, I think we mentioned him on the podcast.
A
long time
while ago. Was it the Sopranos episode? Was it?
I think so. And then I actually like that night or something. I looked up Big Daddy because I had forgotten about that character. That was hilarious, and I was like. I was looking up and it was like Tony Sirico voice. I was like, oh my god,
that's crazy, dude. I'm trying to remember back if I can remember his voice. I'll have to rewatch myself. Nah, dude, he's such like
he's just using his normal voice.
Yeah, no, that's great. I just love like the garbage business, but he was a fairy, like fairy garbage business. Nah, he was definitely
his disdain for Cosmo.
Yeah, hated Cosmo. Yeah, hated Cosmo. So nice to
Wanda's dad.
Right. I love I just love his voice. Like,
Yeah, and like the fairy world was so insane in that show because like basically there's like the you know miserable kids are assigned fairy godparents.
Right.
They all like come from fairy world, which is like would you say it's like another dimension?
so not,
or
yeah, I
it's just in
guess
the
you
sky,
say,
like,
yeah. It's like another dimension,
They
kind
have
of.
all these like different rules that are from like the rule book.
The rule book, yeah, right.
That's sort of there's like this parody.
Jorgen
of
Von
Arnold,
Strangle,
like,
yeah.
This parody of like Arnold Schwarzenegger is Jorgen Von Strangle,
yeah.
who's also Baron Norris.
What?
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Oh my god.
And he's like this fairy who's like actually like taller than a person.
It's humongous.
Most of the fairies are like as big as kids.
Ripped. Looks like he's in like the Marines.
Yeah, and
like,
he's like his wand is like a staff.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like a handheld thing. And he's just like was he like the dictator of like the world?
I guess.
They seem to be pretty peaceful.
Yeah, he was.
He
was like
yeah, like when you said like
the enforcer,
military like commando.
Yeah, he was like the enforcer. But
and
I don't
he would just,
know.
Like, appear when someone was violating the rules.
Right, with the big purple book.
Like, you cannot do that.
Yeah, and it's a straight parody of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even the look of him.
No, yeah.
Basically, like Terminator if he was a fairy, like Terminator with like camouflage pants.
Or like, I think they were going more for what's that movie that Arnold's in?
With
the Alien when he's on.
Oh yeah. Predator.
Yeah,
Predator.
I think that's what they're going for. Like,
yeah, that's wild. Parody. Yeah, right. That's wild.
But yeah, I guess for me, my favorite side character would be Denzel Crocker.
I'm glad you said that one.
Let me get my notes back up there. So that was this guy. Let me see if I can pronounce it. Carlos Alazraqui. So
that's okay.
Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. But yeah, he voiced Denzel Crocker, who is Timmy's like crazed like teacher.
Yeah, fairy lust teacher.
Who was like obsessed with failing these 10-year-olds. Like he gives F's out for everyone. That was like his slogan. Like one of his slogans, like F.
Yeah.
And he takes such joy of failing his like students. and he gets mad when like they actually pass.
When they do good, I remember that. Right.
There are like these scenes where he's like, hey, like he's like mad.
He's like sick.
But he was really obsessed with. So he's sort of like, would you say he's like the main villain?
I think he is. Yeah, he really is, man. Always trying to catch Timmy lacking with those fairies.
Yeah, so he's basically one of the few adults who believes in fairies. And I'm sure there was like various background stories why he is obsessed with fairies, but he would always like have these like convulsive spasms like when he talks about fairies. He's like, fairy godparents, and he would like his like he would like fly like bounce like on the
like
walls
change
and
shape,
stuff.
like shape shift, like
he would change shape. Like, he would contort,
Mr. Crocker was a shapeshifter.
like at every word, fairy, contort, god, contort, parents. But yeah, so he was always trying to find. What you said, he was always trying to find the fairies.
Yeah.
And what would happen if you admit that you have fairies or it's discovered, the fairies are taken away from you.
Right.
And I believe
your memory
of them is wiped too.
Right. Yeah, man.
So that was always like a pretty real fear that Timmy had.
I had too watching. As a kid, yeah.
You thought like it was gonna get him.
I was like, dude, I hope he doesn't forget these fairly odd godparents. You know.
But I just remember like. There's like, I forget what date it is, but it's like some date in March is like the worst day of his life. I think it was his birthday too.
Yeah.
When he was 10. Because that's right. He used to have Cosmo
and
Wanda.
Right.
And there's an episode where Timmy tries to go back and stop this date from happening. The day that ruined his life. And it turns out that's the date that his fairies were taken away.
Right.
But before they wiped his mind, he wrote down fairy godparents are real on a note. So when he like awoke from his like memory wipe, he found that and he just became obsessed with fairies.
Yeah, that's such a backstory.
So much that like he never like left home and he's like
mother. Yeah, he's
got
his
his mom, mother, who is essentially like a short woman version of him. They have the same face.
Right. They do. They do.
And it's like he's actually a pretty tragic character now.
He really is. Yeah, like is he even the villain or is he like the victim?
He's the victim. But
Jordan.
yeah. But yeah, so I
Denzel
guess
Crocker.
Was that?
No, I said Denzel Crocker. That's a good
Denzel
choice,
Crocker.
right?
But I would say in the end, where would you rate the Fairly Odd Parents in the Nickelodeon early 2000s cartoon? So like putting it against, to give you some reference, putting it against SpongeBob, putting it against Jimmy Neutron.
Right.
Hey Arnold.
See, I think I say like the 2000s up until I'd say like 2013 or something like that. I really think it was SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, and cartoon wise, really that. I guess Jimmy Neutron. So I'd say Fairly Odd Parents. To me, I'd say it was like second best cartoon on Nickelodeon.
Put it number 2, silver medal.
Second behind SpongeBob. So yeah, silver medal
right.
for sure.
So I'm gonna agree with you when it comes to Nickelodeon shows.
Okay.
I feel like, I mean, maybe in that era though. Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like that
era.
time, right?
I would say maybe until like 2008 though.
'Cause
That's what I mean, but that's when I was starting to shift over to like Cartoon Network with their
more edgy stuff.
more
yeah,
edgy cartoons,
right.
Yeah,
Sophisticated cartoons.
yeah. Flapjack, man.
There you go. Yeah.
Which we gotta do an episode on.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure.
But yeah, I would put it in second too. But actually, interestingly enough, for a time, it was rated higher than SpongeBob.
Really?
And we're talking in the golden years of SpongeBob, like that, like
yeah.
That,
I believe
that
it.
pocket of like 2000, 2003.
I mean, dude, Mr. Crocker's backstory alone, I think, is more compelling. Like, I love SpongeBob, but that's more compelling than anything in the SpongeBob universe. I think that's tragic.
I mean,
that's a tragedy,
man. I think SpongeBob's humor was way smarter.
I love SpongeBob.
I mean, we already established. Yeah, I think SpongeBob is like that is the.
But I think character-driven wise, yeah, no, right, humor-wise, but dude, like character-driven. I mean, that's some tragic stuff with Mr. Crocker that like I kind of forgot about until you unlocked like another memory.
Honestly, until we were talking about it, the memory just started coming back. I was like, oh yeah,
yeah,
he had Cosmo and Wanda.
And like he never suspected anything. Timmy having like the purple and green pencil all the time, like the pink and green pencil.
Oh yeah, because
Cosmo and Wanda were always.
They
so the Fairly Odd Parents or Fairly Godparents. I don't even know which it is anymore. Is it Godparents or Odd?
So it was the show.
The title is
Fairly
Odd Parents.
They are fairy godparents.
Right. So Fairly Godparents, to their disguise would be like maybe whatever objects you have near you in that setting. So if you're in school, I mean, Cosmo and Wanda are gonna like turn into a pencil and an eraser, or if you're at like a party, Timmy Turner may have this like pink and green balloons near him or something like that can
Cosmo
talk.
had green hair and green eyes,
and they were both right.
And
Wanda had the pink hair, pink eyes, right? So I mean, they did a lot of things like that. They'd be balloons, pencils. And it's just funny that Mr. Crocker, his fish primarily, that was like their main get-up. Right.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, when I think Timmy went in their fishbowl house, and it was like humongous, and it was like all their kids over the years, like on like their wall of fame or something like that?
Yeah.
Was Mr. Crocker on there as a kid, or?
I don't
remember now.
But I do remember that was a funny episode.
That was a great episode. Yeah, like Timmy almost like, I guess he wasn't on there or something like that, and then he went like all the way in the back and like they had a whole room just for him or something like that.
Oh yeah,
something wild.
Now the episodes are coming back like.
Yeah, it's two grown men, I really missed that show.
Just real quick, I won't get through. Do you remember like the one where they send them to like the daycare? And it's like really like a progressive daycare.
Yeah.
And like there's like an animatronic polar bear like talking about like climate change.
Yeah.
And, like it's all these like happy Gary, I'm happy Betty. Like that was a funny episode.
Dude, man, there's a lot.
Yeah, but
the when he had that like remote and he was like surfing the channels or whatever, and then like his future self came back to the past as a grown man.
Yeah, the special.
Nah.
Yeah, that was actually good. They did a pretty funny parody of Star Wars in that one.
They did. I wonder if we should ever do a whole episode on Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. Remember that? That special?
Yeah,
that'd be a good episode. That was amazing.
But I just want to real quick do an honorable mention to Doug Dimmadome.
Oh God!
Owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Yeah, Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Dimsdale. obscenely rich like Texan whose hat like
Flubber nugget.
like I think no, it was Blubber Nuggets.
Blubber nugget.
Like that's like this product he's pushing like at one point.
Blubber nugget.
They're chewy. But yeah, Doug Dimmadome was pretty funny, and like remember like the first episode you see him, he's like tearing down this historical venue,
yeah,
like, this village to like build like a super
like a
sports
mall,
center.
yeah, something crazy, yeah,
but,
something.
Like, you never see the top of his like 10-gallon hat. Just,
yeah,
goes
humongous.
into the sky. But yeah,
Chet Betcha is another one.
Yeah, no, man, I see it.
See, Chet, and I think he was also voiced by not Dean Norris, but Darren Norris.
I don't know on that one.
I think he was.
He might have been. But yeah, so that's like our rundown on Fairly OddParents.
If you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend it. It's a great show.
Yeah,
if you
it was a good show.
You can watch any episode and be entertained. It's just one of those kind of, you know what I mean? It's like our podcast. You don't have to watch from the beginning.
Yeah.
In order. You just watch any episode and hopefully be entertained.
I actually suggest that you don't.
I know. That's something that Joe highly suggests.
But yeah. So, Mike, I really wanted to run by a quick story. Before we get into our next topic.
Okay.
I want to... So your ostrich story reminded me of a historical event.
Oh, really?
So, for those of you guys who who didn't listen to the last episode, Mike was accosted by an ostrich when he was 5 years old at his house. It had escaped an ostrich farm and was trying to break into his house.
It's terrible.
So are you familiar with the Emu War?
I'm not.
So you know what an emu is? It's like
I know, yeah, I definitely know.
Australian ostrich.
A smaller ostrich, right.
But it's still like a big bird.
Right, yeah.
So, I think like the 1930s in Australia, there were farmers in Australia, like in one of the parts, like one of the more remote parts of the in Western Australia.
Okay.
There are a bunch of farmers. Yeah, 1932. The farmers are complaining to the government, the Australian government. All these emu herds, they're eating all our crops. Like, come do something.
Right.
So the Australian government sends 3 soldiers, an officer and 2 enlisted guys, and both the enlisted guys are armed with Lewis machine guns.
Jesus.
So that's like a one-man machine gun. It's like a heavy
artillery,
like World War I type machine gun, and they send them out to thin the herd.
Jesus.
So what happens is these 3 soldiers go out there, and like when they find these herds, like they take aim and they fire, but what happens is like a lot of times like they don't hit a lot of them, and the emus like get away, and eventually they had to give up, and like
retreat.
The army just had they just stopped the expedition.
Really?
It wasn't working. Like,
was there just too many emus?
Oh yeah, they would get away.
Really? Yeah. See, I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
So,
that was a problem.
The end of the war was Australia lost and
the
emus won.
Why are we learning this in school? Like,
I don't know.
That's some interesting history.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I mean, John Cleese from Monty Python?
Yeah.
Apparently, he's supposed to be making a movie that was supposed to be released this year about it.
I think I'm going to watch as much footage as I can about this.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever filmed any of it.
Just anything.
I mean, I'm looking at a picture right here of a machine-gunned emu.
Oh, God. Do they have a battle flag or something? Like emu.
Yeah, no, I mean... Yeah, so...
The 2nd Emu Division.
Yeah, in 1932, the Campion district of Western Australia was terrorized by emus.
It's just such like a funny...
And they won.
Funny article.
Yeah, so I thought that would be interesting for you.
No, it's giving me flashbacks though, man, of the ostrich. Yeah.
But yeah, so I just want to share that with you. But
that was really interesting. Was not expecting that one.
But last topic for the night, or for the episode, is because I think we have been neglecting some of our Italian American heritage.
Mm-hmm.
That was something we were really strong with in the beginning. So I'm trying to bring that back, guys.
Sure.
I am.
Sure.
So, Mike, my question to you is, what is your favorite Italian liqueur?
Favorite
or
Italian liqueur?
cordial? So you know what? You know what? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
no, I know.
And if you say limoncello, I will kill you. So just
Jeez,
take that. Take what you will with that.
You go first, man. You go
All
first.
right.
You go first. You go first.
I'm gonna go. In the end of the day, amaretto,
Amaretto.
which is the almond liqueur.
Okay.
Because I love amaretto sours,
Okay.
and I feel like you can enjoy that any time of the year. Frangelico, which is a hazelnut one, it's my second one. I brought that to your family Christmas party yesterday.
You
It
did,
was
yeah.
It was my host gift.
There you go. I hope you appreciated it.
Yeah, but Frangelico I feel is more like a winter thing, whereas I feel like amaretto, you can have an amaretto sour all year.
Grand Marnier is not Italian, right?
No, that's French.
I can't say limoncello.
No.
God.
Oh, you can.
But you're gonna kill me.
I just made you alert of the
Jesus.
consequence.
Well, I don't want to say it, but I do love
All right,
limoncello.
all right,
I do.
That's fine.
That's like, yeah, it's like,
That's fine.
dude, off the top of my head, I can't think, man. I love limoncello. Like, that's our go-to holiday beverage.
Okay,
man.
all right.
Our go-to toast, it really is, man.
Really?
Yeah, my godfather, he passed away, but he would always bring 2 bottles of homemade limoncello, and that was like something we would all take a shot.
What's like the big brand, like Polini? Did you guys do like that brand?
We probably did. It would always just kind of come in like a plain bottle. That's why it kind of had me stumped with this topic a little bit. Not stumped, but I mean, right off the bat, you said no limoncello, man. My heart dropped right into my stomach.
Because like
It's like a cheat.
I do like the brand of amaretto. Like I'll take most amarettos, but Di Serono is like the gold standard of
Right.
amaretto. That like.
Now, for someone like me that isn't a Italian liqueur savant,
Okay.
do you have any good recommendations that I could try? Maybe the listeners could try that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Besides what you just said,
well, so amaretto. I'd say Frangelico.
Frangelico.
And guys, something that is really good with Frangelico is essentially like an Italian White Russian, I think. So it's Frangelico, splash of like cola, so that could be Pepsi or Coke,
Right.
whatever you prefer, and like half and half.
Okay.
And it's a nice winter drink.
That's were you trying to make that, right?
I was.
Yeah, because I remember at the
I was.
Christmas
I was
party,
like,
we were looking for half and
I
half.
thought you were gonna go half and half. Like,
I felt terrible because we didn't. You even were gonna go with milk. You were just like anything.
yeah, man, I wanted to make it's called a Satin Angel.
Satin Angel.
Yeah.
Satin Angel.
I wish the name was different, but it's a good drink.
Now, do you like limoncello? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but you just feel like that would be like
I feel like that's
it's like a cheat. It's like
corny.
too easy. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I mean, to me though, I love like my mom makes homemade limoncello. So many of our cousins, my uncle that I talked about.
Now, what about Sambuca?
Sambuca, I love
I saw
Sambuca.
your family was busting out some Sambuca.
Yeah, we love Sambuca, man. Nah, for sure with some espresso. I love Sambuca. I don't even know why I didn't say that. I mean,
Man,
I said Grand Marnier, a French,
French.
really fancy French liquor. I could have said Sambuca. Nah, Sambuca's great. Yeah, we definitely when it's
You
Christmas.
like black or clear?
Clear up my coffee.
So same, but man, to be honest, I'm not gonna get too much into it. But you know how everybody has like a liquor they can't drink anymore?
Yeah, is that it?
Sambuca is mine.
No way, really?
Yeah. So,
I know you don't want to get into it, because I got that.
Like I'll see it. It kind of makes me like.
Yeah,
like
it's like
I
that.
start
Yeah,
to, like,
man. Jeez,
I
bro,
start
it's
to gag a
terrible,
little
man.
bit. Yeah. It's a
Sucks.
shame because I used to like love it. Like,
Dang, that's sad,
But
man.
it is a weird.
Living in Rome, was it like a normal thing for you? Some Sambuca in your coffee or your?
Honestly, I feel like I didn't drink that much in Rome. I
No.
drank wine, but
Right.
I did a shot of Havana Club rum. Which
Okay.
is like, supposed to be like one of the best rums. It's like Cuban you know, of course, at the time at least, I don't know the embargo anymore, if that's even going on.
Right.
I'm not completely up to date with that. But at the time, you could not get Havana Club rum in the United States.
Really?
So I remember, like, I was like, you know, because in Italy it's like cafes, like they're also bars.
Yeah,
Everything just has
gas stations or bars or everything.
Like,
Yeah.
You know, I remember at the pizza place, like next to the Coca-Cola was like beer.
Yeah.
And you just grab it and drink it, like.
No one IDs
you.
you.
No.
Not at all. Yeah.
I don't think I ever got.
I haven't ID'd either.
Unless it was like the government trying to
Yeah.
identify who I was. Like,
Yeah. The police or something.
Italy, like,
Yeah.
you're Joseph Martino, all right.
Yeah, I think they saw my ID once in the airport. And that was it.
Like that's like it. But I remember like at this the cafe I went to all the time, I befriended the owner actually, and I was like kind of trying to tell him like mostly in English because I didn't have the vocabulary in Italian to tell him that's illegal in my country because of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah,
like, you know, like,
he'd probably be like, "What's this guy?"
Yeah, like I was just like I did communicate like I've never had that. I think I probably said it in English like it's illegal in my country. I think he kind of understood it. He takes it down. He pours us both a shot. We do a shot.
That's awesome.
Isn't that like the classiest
That's cool. Yeah,
thing?
that's so cool. Man.
Like I just like.
That's like a bonding experience right there,
Well,
man.
that's
That
like-
you just can't make up.
I know.
That's awesome.
I feel like everybody should be like that guy.
That's heartwarming, actually. Yeah, that's heartwarming. That's illegal in your country, buddy. Well, here you go.
Yeah. So.
Not in mine.
But I don't know. It might be legal now. I'm not entirely.
That's
I
fascinating.
haven't seen it on the shelves. But.
Dude, I remember every coffee shop in Italy, man. It didn't matter where I was. Sambuca was flowing, and I would always get it in every drink, every coffee, every espresso, everything.
They look at you weird like that, no?
No.
Like
Yeah, because I was with my two uncles, and like that's what they were doing. So I was doing it too. I was like, I'm doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah, cause I'm just like wondering if that's like something that like is still done, or that was like an old thing that Italian Americans continued, you know?
That's I know like the Italian club up here in Ardmore. It's like a big thing. Well, I mean, a lot of the old Italians don't go there anymore, but I remember they'd get their coffee, put the Sambuca in there, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, 11, it don't matter. So I guess they think because there's coffee in it, it's not gonna get them like buzzed or anything. It's gonna get them energized, ready to work.
No, I've never had any coffee though.
That's great. Yeah, it has this like licorice like taste.
It's like
it's really good. It's excellent, I think. Really, with a double espresso, I think it's delicious.
Okay, I might have to try it.
That and maybe like a dark chocolate Kit Kat melted in there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. A classy fellow gave me that combination.
Fellow.
Really classy fellow.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I just want to pick your brain on that.
Yeah.
And I think with that, we're pretty much wrapping up for today's episode. Shout out to Dennis. We love you, man.
Dennis, we love you.
I mean,
can't get enough of him.
I don't even know why we even have to say it at this point.
Dennis, you're loved at the Highly Original Podcast.
You are loved.
It's true. And I hope you're listening right now.
Yeah.
He is listening. I know he's listening.
He's out there listening, man.
He is. He's out there. I have hope. I have faith.
Every time a bell rings, a dentist gets his wings. All right, guys. Take care. And we will, tune in next week.
Guys, have a good one. Take care.